Anyway, so we established this center, and we have, of course, we have almost no money. That's the first thing. We started out with something in the order of $40,000 that I had from the foundation that I had run. And the first thing that we did was establish a program of visiting scholars. And what we do and have done since the beginning is to bring over one person a year from Belarus who comes to the center. They do research. They make connections here in North American diaspora or among their colleagues in their fields of professional fields. And they write, and they give interviews and all the rest of it. And the idea is that at the end of their year, they'll go back to Belarus and start working in that society and in the higher education there to implement what they learned, what they studied, what they are doing over here. Well, the first one was Alexander Lachwiniec, who has become quite a prominent opposition person. He was on the staff of Milankiewicz during the election campaign, and he himself ran for a seat in the last parliamentary election, so-called election, which of course was a non-election. So he wasn't elected. But he's there, and he's very active, and we like him. He was our first visiting scholar. The second one was Dmitry Korenko. He's also back in Belarus, and he helps us with our website, as I was telling you. The third one was a very interesting guy with a Roman Catholic theological background, Rutkowski. And he taught us a lot about the dynamics within the Roman Catholic Church in Belarus, about how the Belarusian origin national Catholics, Roman Catholics, are more or less discriminated against by the Polish Roman Catholics in Belarus. At least that was his opinion. So he was here for a while. And our latest one is just arrived. Her name is Sichova, Nadzieja Sichova. And she is finishing her PhD. She's only 24 years old, but she's finishing her PhD in the history of the Belarusian national movement. It's really something fantastic. If you get a chance to invite her to come to Toronto sometime, or maybe Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa could all meet together somehow and have a big session with her or something like that, that would really be great. And in addition to doing her research and to making her contacts and so on, she's also working about half-time for the center on all kinds of things that we need doing. For example, we just now are publishing our first book, because we have a press, we're publishing. Now, this is a book by a Canadian. It's about Belarusian Jewish writers of the early 20th century. And the author is Zina Gimpelevich, who's a professor at Waterloo.
Yes.
That book, of course, is a kind of a special case. It's in Belarusian and English together. But all of these, anything that we might want to publish has to be edited carefully and so on. Our second book is going to be a kind of a encyclopedic history of Belarus, historical encyclopedia of Belarus, which has been written. There's a manuscript by Korenko's uncle, whose name I forget right now, but he's a rather well-known historian in Belarus, but can't publish things like this over there. And that manuscript has been already carefully read and edited by Jan Zaprudnik, Professor Zaprudnik in New York, and it's ready to go to publication. But in addition to, editing it for content, we can't expect our scholars to know every subject, but they certainly know the Belarusian language and editing it carefully so it's accurate and correct and so on. So Nadzieja Sichova is helping us with that. She's helping us to catalog all of these acquisitions that we've got, like I'm going to be getting today from the Akula estate and got yesterday from the Chronowski. Mr. Chronowski gave a lot of stuff. So our visiting scholars are very busy, and that's one aspect of our work. Second aspect is the publishing that I just mentioned. Third, we're planning to do distance learning, and maybe not so distant learning, but for sure we want to do, starting next summer, a kind of a program in Belarusian language studies on the internet in collaboration with a group in Białystok. One of you said you're from Poland.
Yeah.
So there's a group there that we're working with. And we will try to expand that to include maybe summer institutes where people physically go to Białystok for language study and for whatever else. I don't mean Belarusians, I mean sort of ordinary Anglo-Americans and Canadians and so on, who have an interest in the area, in the region, and are going to go into diplomatic careers or banking careers or whatever it might be. And they need to know that there's such a thing as Belarus. It's not just Russia over there, sort of a thing. So that's another part of our activities. On the other side of all of that, we want to make our center in Kansas a focal point for collecting and holding on a permanent basis forever documents, memoranda, the kinds of things that you've got all around here. All kinds of materials, maps, manuscripts, documents, books, whatever it might be, so that at any time in the future, there'll be one place in North America, maybe there'll be other places, but for now there's one place that we have that we want to be a repository for everything Belarusian, so that we can have seminars there. We can have maybe diplomatic negotiations there. We can have exhibits there, cultural presentations, whatever it might be. And we think that that's also going to facilitate the revival of Belarus nation through higher education, because everything that we do is available or will be available online, and therefore can be picked up by people in Belarus and know what's going on abroad and what's available abroad for their own use as well. One of the things, for example, that we hope to do with the books and manuscripts and so on is to catalog them and then put the catalog online, so that somebody in wherever it might be, Mahulyo or Vitebsk or somewhere, can go online and see, oh, here's such and such a material at this place in Kansas. They can either access it online if it's been scanned, or they can get the book through interlibrary loan, whatever. So, to summarize, at the moment we're not doing any instructional work ourselves, but we're trying to use the few people that we are able to afford to bring over or to work with to have a multiplier effect out to broader areas of both of the diaspora in North America and of Belarusians in Belarus. Because I feel very strongly that basically Belarus is endangered. It's like you're like an endangered species. Of course, you guys are all over here. That's great. But whoever is over there is in danger not only of being Russified, but of being reincorporated into Russia. And if somebody doesn't keep Belarus alive, then what's going to happen? So. In sum, that's kind of what the center's about and what we're working on. I did